Good morning, Autumn here from Thriving Heart Studio. Today is day 2 of our 3-day free holiday themed workshop entitled 'Tis the Season. Today is all about Christmas trees. And what I'm creating here is something that could easily fit on a greeting card. So here's an idea. We're going to do 6 different trees of how you can make homemade greeting cards very easily, uniquely, creatively, and have fun with it. And one of my missions here with Thriving Heart Studio is to use art as a way to decompress and relax. So if this holiday season is finding you a little overwhelmed, trying to juggle a lot, now's the time to create in an atmosphere of decompression. So I hope you enjoy this session. I'm going to go ahead and get started. And the first one I'm going to teach you is like a paper mache Christmas tree. So I have newspaper here. I cut it into strips to save time. And I'm going to make a water and glue solution. I like clear glue, but if you didn't have clear glue, you could use school glue watered down. So I'm just going to kind of guesstimate here, put a little bit in. What you want to do is make it 2 to 3 parts, if that makes sense. So 3 parts is glue. Wait a minute, that's not right. 1 to 3. There we go, 1 to 3. 3 parts glue, 1 part water, if that makes sense. You're just kind of watering down the glue a little bit so it is smoother. All right, I'm going to use a large brush. Liam actually loves doing these kind of activities, and we'll be making our own together later when I can focus with him. So I've got my tree and I've got my glue on a big brush. I'm simply going to be attaching these in ways that I can wrap around. And so I might have to even cut it more if it's too long. I'm just going to kind of make a pattern all different wrapped around. And my newspaper is actually the real black and white. I know sometimes we get ads and stuff that have colors. You could do that too. That would look really neat. But I'm actually going to paint it afterwards. So I'm going to stick with this black and white vintage look for the example. So I'm going to go ahead and apply some glue, not all over because I am going to be lifting it up and doing things. And we're going to start with the strip. Now we're going to have to go on the back. And I'm going to try to keep it going with, I'm going to cut this one off. And this might get a little messy. So be prepared for a messier station. I've got my baby wipes and things to clean up. So there's my first little strip across, right? Nothing big. I'm just going to basically keep repeating that. And it might actually be easier, now that I'm doing it, to keep it all down and then flip it over and do the back. So I'm going to try to not put it on the little edges. So, and I need to go over top as well as underneath with paper macheing. Short one can go on the top here real easily. Cross right there. This is going much faster. So see, once you start, you realize how to do it, because I didn't practice this. I was like, I could do this live. Okay, so now I'm just going to wrap it all around onto the back. And remember, we're going to be a little sticky here because we're basically putting our hands on the glue, holding it, wrapping it. So prepare yourself and your kids. If they're doing this, you might get sticky. If you have sensory sensitive children, you might just want them to be putting the pieces on while you do the gluing. You can always modify these activities to suit however your child needs. All right. For time's sake, I'm not going to do a whole bunch of strips, but just to give you the idea, you can make yours as much, much more intricate than I make mine today. All right, so there is, almost looks like ribbon. I might put one more I just feel like it needs one more across here. Everything will stick to you at this point. And ooh, I might be able to just wrap it straight around now and come off the other side. And not, maybe not. So trusty scissors on hand. Just trim that off. All right. So once you feel satisfied with your tree, okay. Not perfect, but okay. Now I'm gonna go ahead and paint this with a mixture of acrylic and water, basically, so that it doesn't completely cover the newspaper part. So I'm gonna use a different brush, or actually, I think I can use this brush, it won't really matter. And I'm just gonna lightly paint my whole tree with my acrylic mixture. Okay. All right, there's my tree. The bottom might need a little bit darker, huh? All right, now that I have this tree painted, I'm gonna go ahead and add a few embellishes to it. And I believe since it's wet, probably adding buttons or mosaics would be the easiest. So I'm going to use my school glue. I've got a little container here of all my embellishes. And I'm gonna add a few buttons to decorate. So if you have little tiny things, mosaics, buttons, gems, keep them in a little separate container throughout the whole year and use them on your Christmas trees. Right, Liam? It is the easiest thing to do. I'm going to save some for other ones. All right, here's my first tree. And this one section, I don't want to lift it up too much because of the... Liam, you're going to love making these later. Now that I've made the first one, I'll be able to do it easier. Okay, there we go. First tree. Want to let it dry flat because these buttons need to dry just like so. So that was a very easy and traditional color, but you could also use blue or red. Make your tree however you want in the background, right? There's the way to expand. Okay, the next tree we're gonna do, Liam is up and happy. He is bouncing on the couch. Either the bed or the couch are bouncy places for my boy. We're gonna do a stained glass tree, okay? Now, if you actually had plastic, it would look awesome, but it'll work just fine with a white cutout. So for this craft, you're going to need your glue mixture again, and you're going to need different colored tissue paper. So what I'm gonna do is basically attach, just in a rainbow kind of fashion, and of course, I remember I got green on here. Let's rinse that off a little better. We're just gonna attach the tissue paper, overlap it. Let me show you here. I don't wanna block the view. The bigger the pieces, the easier and the faster it will go. The smaller the pieces, the more different little designs you'll get as you go. I'm gonna use a little bit of everything here. And this will be the same thing, but I'm gonna wait till it's all covered and then turn it around and wrap it behind. That way I'll get the least amount on my hand. Make sure I have one place to lift it up. And I cut out all the color of the rainbow with tissue paper because I have a huge collection. Dollar store, you know, you can pick up a color for $1 and then just keep it collecting and use it for crafts. We like tissue paper a lot. I'll show you, we'll be doing another design with tissue paper. It's just kind of fun. It makes an easy medium. And it doesn't require extreme motor skills. Like, you can just be able to paint and you can create something colorful and beautiful with tissue paper. So I like that about it. And I'm almost done here with these. And I'll show you my tree. All right, so here we got this going on. I'm almost out of glue here. I'm gonna just glue the back and I'm gonna fold it over. And if I have to cut, because you know how like you go to fold like something and you need that extra room so it doesn't crinkle, we do that. We just fold it like a package. And if we need to cut it off at the end to make it around a shape, no biggie either. You'll see how I do that. And if it's not moving smoothly, we'll do that. So this craft will not require any of the extra little embellishes. We are actually going to use black acrylic paint to make it look stained glass-like. So this is fun. This is your creativity part. You get to put those lines however you want. You get to make it as intricate or as simple. And you got to be careful laying things flat here. But all right, so here's my tree. I'm going to clean off all this here because it is very sticky. Okay. I'm going to lay this down. And I've got these tiny little things of acrylic. This would be so much easier than using bigger acrylics because we just need a little bit for trees. So if you can buy one of these things, dollar store also, I think I got it. It goes much faster. Okay, so I'm just gonna paint on. It'll have a border also. And just be careful as you paint that you don't rip the paper underneath, which is still gonna be a little fragile, because it is, of course, wet. Okay. And most stained glass, some of stained glass has an image in the center. I'm going to make a little heart, I believe, here in the center of my stained glass. You can do whatever you want. It's not going to be perfect. Make it as unique as you are. And you really can't mess up because, you know, you make a little extra line or something, just add to it. Okay. Yeah. And it's important to get the border. This one is a little big. I think it might still fit on a folded piece of cardstock as a Christmas card, but in case not, you can always give it as a gift. We can follow the lines a little bit of our, you're seeing the lines here of the stained glass. You can stick with it or not with it. Kind of make it unique. All right. And I'm almost done. And I'll show you. You can kind of see it, right? How it's looking. Just as unique as you want it to be. All right. I think I feel satisfied. This one's kind of big here. All right. This is a little wet, so it will have to go somewhere to dry also. Be careful as you lift it. Talking to myself. Be careful as you lift it, Autumn. All right, look at that. Stained glass tree. How much fun would that be to make with the kids? All right. All right, our next tree. I'm going to use a smaller one here. It's a tissue paper tree. And I have an example I'm going to show you. And I'm going to make mine a little different than the example. But I'll show you one that Liam and I made. You basically just crinkle up tissue paper and crinkle up the color to put on as ornaments. Okay? Pretty simple. So this is something almost anybody could do. Got school glue to apply. I've got all my tissue paper, and I'm going to go ahead and do a green background. And the cool thing about this green is it has little sparkles in it. Some tissue paper has like a, whatever you call that, little glitter look to it. I really like that. So crinkle up your paper first, or each time as you do it, and just stick it on your tree. If you were a teacher in school system, this would be something very simple to do with your kids, because it only takes, what, 2 supplies, right? I'm gonna go ahead and put an orange ornament right there. And we'll put a yellow one on the top as if it's a star. Stay here, buddy, okay? Mom's teaching. Liam, do you want to apply this with me? You want to do something? Here. Maybe, maybe not. I can't always get Liam on the lives to create with me, but I'll try. All right, so I'm just going to put a bunch of glue on this to make it go faster. Crinkle up my green. This motor skill of crinkling is actually something that took Liam a few years to learn how to do, either with one hand or with 2. So it's actually a really good motor skill to teach young children. And it's repetitive, so, you know, once you get the skill, you can practice it and make them tighter, smaller, whatever you want. All right, I'm getting there. Just need a few more. Let's see. Let's do an orange one right there. And a blue one down here. All right, I'm going to call that a finished crinkled tissue paper tree. So see how cool that would be for either an ornament or to stick on a card. Maybe it's a card you're going to hand someone. You know, the more 3-dimensional they get, the harder it is to put them in the mail, but it's still possible if you're sending a package or something to someone. Why not involve the kids and create cute little trees? All right, we're making good time. We got 3 down, 3 to go. The next one, I think I'm going to also use a small tree. We're going to make it look like an outdoor tree with lights on it. So what we need is probably a medium brush. Have one here. And you're going to need green paint to start with. Green acrylic. This is a little lighter than I probably like, but that's okay. And I need white. All right. So first we're going to do it. We're going to like sponge it on the green. So sponge on. This probably isn't the best brush. I need like a little bit bigger. Maybe I could use my bigger brush. I'll put you. Okay. Sponge on the green. Yeah, you want it to look, you want to leave a little bit of white. Make it look a little bit like you can see through it. Okay. Simple sponged on green. Give it a second to dry. I'm going to talk a little bit about how I'm going to do the lights. So when it comes to the lights, I'm going to draw a black line and then put glitter on as if they are the lights. So I have my glitter glue. So if you have that, that's probably the best thing to do when it comes to little glittered lights. Okay, so letting that dry just a second before I do white. And the white will look like snow. So take your little whites and dab it on. And if you do a little bit too much, no worries. We can go back and do a little bit more green. But you want to make it look snow covered, so okay. So there's my snow covered tree. Sponging on the 2 different colors. All right, now with my tiny brush and my black, I'm going to just make lights that string down. And remember, be careful because if it's wet, hasn't dried, it will blend. So I very carefully move across wet paint with a tiny brush. All right, hopefully you can see I'm just going diagonal, making the string of lights. I am going to use glitter glue on this, but I will do some embellishments on the next one. All right, so there's my string of lights across my outdoor tree. And now I'm just going to go and put a few little kind of knobs where the lights would be hanging down. Maybe 3 or 4 on each line. Longer lines get more. I'm trying to keep them as equal distance as they would appear in reality. All right, I'm gonna rinse off this brush and show you what I've got so far. All right, there's all the lines prepped, ready to go. So now when I use my glitter glue, I'm going to put several on at once, right? I'm not gonna go each time and change color. So are they all gonna be perfectly equidistant, the color at the end? No idea, probably not. But let's put on And be careful not to touch the black too much. It blended right there, but you know, no worries. Whatever happens, happens. All right. And I have a ton of different colored, a new set of glitter glue. I find it one of my favorite ways to enhance crafts. So much easier than loose glitter. Ooh. And that light bulb went really far across, and it might be repairable with a dry brush. Let me see if I can do it. I did it. You can always fix some of the things. All right, let's see. How about pink? Pink light. So the slower you move up from a light, the more you're gonna keep that little drop right above it and it won't smear. So give gravity a chance to let your light fix itself. And like I said, no worries in case it goes elsewhere, right? That's art. All right. I think I have a watcher. I am making an outdoor Christmas tree with glitter glue lights. And I'm having a few imperfections. I'm using a dry brush to kind of refix the glitter glue when it goes a little bit where it wants to go. Whoop. All right, I'm going to put some blue on. And I need, let's see, a purple. So when these dry, it will just look like nice lights on a tree. When we were kids, one of our favorite things to do was to go in the neighborhood and see the lights. I remember that being like more of a treat around Christmas than like even the presents and everything. It was like, yay, lights. And my mom would have us say, pretty lights, whenever we would see them. Not everybody did lights, right? All right, I think I got my my lights on. So everywhere you put a little black latch, who puts a drop of glitter glue? There's my outdoor Christmas tree with glitter glue lights. All right. I'm going to let that one also dry. And now, this is going to be so much fun, guys. We are making a rainbow tree that's just extravagant with lights and everything. Because one thing I love about Christmas is not sticking with tradition. Right? Going your own way, making your own style. I saw all these cool trees on like Pinterest and things like upside down trees and Dr. Seuss themed trees. And I was like, wow, we've really increased the gear in creativity when it comes to the holiday season, which I think is awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and make a rainbow tree starting with red at the top and going down. And I'm just going to brush it on, and I'm going to actually go ahead and try to blend if I can while it's wet. It might not work perfectly because this is paper and paper dries, but ooh, it's working okay for me. All right, so far I've got my red and my orange going on there. And hi, Taylor. I'm so glad you're here. Okay, I do want to rinse this before I stick it in the yellow, because that would not be cool. All right, next color down, yellow. And a little bit with that top. And then we go to green. And I'm using these little baby acrylics, which make it much easier to paint than the larger ones. Little Dollar Tree set, I believe. Okay, so you see my blending going on? Making it kind of blend down together. And I need blue and purple. So to me, these kind of crafts and working with little trees like this, maybe you don't have a house where you want to put up a tree every year. Like sometimes when you have infants, toddlers, cats, animals, just sickness. I mean, there's a whole bunch of reasons why you might not want to put a tree up or feel that pressure like, oh gosh, I got to put a tree up every year. Why not just create a few trees? Just get some art supplies and create a little bit. Decorate your house with those, right? That way you get to experience the joyfulness of the tree symbol without it being stressful. Do what works for you, not what everybody else, the neighbors or whatever are doing around you. If you want to participate in things, participate, but do it out of a sense of excitement and delight, not obligation. I think we work too much around the holidays with this obligation energy, and it just zaps the joy out of all the experiences we could have. So that is the reminder. While we're making trees should be fun. Okay, there's my rainbow tree. Now, and you could make a different pattern. You don't have to do rainbow. You don't have to do it this side way, right? You could do any kind of pattern with any kind of color. Now I've got all these embellishes. So let me see here. I'm going to use some of my white mosaic tiles. I've got some blue mosaic tiles. Those will look nice. I will use, as this dries a little bit, I can use these gems I have. They have a sticky thing on the back of them. So I want it to be dry before I do that. Otherwise, I put a little bit of glue down. If you don't want to wait or you have kids that are impatient, just put it on anyways. That's what I say. Here's little just bright colored gems. And I've got pom-poms. I couldn't find all my pom-poms, so I got some small ones here. So I'm just going to embellish my tree. Let me start with my mosaics. I'm going to put them in like a diamond shape. And then I'm going to add my pom-poms. This is fun for the little ones. If they struggle with some of the activities, just putting things on the dots of glue can be one of the easiest motor skills. You can't mess it up, right? You could miss the glue spot, but that's not a big issue. All right. And I kind of let the color be more of the tree than the things I put on, which kind of helps the background to stand out. All right, let's see if these stay on. There's my embellished rainbow tree. All right. That's 5. I got one more to teach you. This one is fun and easy. It will require, oh, I didn't do any of the gems. Well, I will do those on my tree once it dries because it looks like by moving it, things are falling off. So we'll let that dry and then I'll add some of this to it. Okay, Actually, I could even add some gems to my other trees. But this one is going to be swirl and glitter. So it's so easy. We had a whole workshop on the spiral. So this is about life being a journey and being compassionate with yourself. So as you're creating spirals, that's kind of the message to remember. So I'm basically going to just create random spirals with different colors on my tree. It might look a little bit like Lollipop Land, right? Lollipops are that nice spiral. And I'm going to fill some of them in, and some might be different. All right, so there's my first spiral on my tree. Maybe I will stick with this idea of green as the background of the spiral and a color on the inside. That seems kind of fun now that it comes to me because it's like the Christmas tree. Right, I'm not going to do too many here, but I will show you my creation. And this could be something, you know, if you're making spiral art with the kids, you could have them try to remember, hey, what was hard for you last year? Do you remember what might have been hard for you when you were 5 or 6? What have you really learned this past year that's coming more easy to you? Such as reading, riding a bike, getting along with your siblings. All those things are worth celebrating. So you could actually make an activity and have a theme with it with your family that we're celebrating ourselves as we create together. And ornament making is a wonderful ornament, or like this is greeting card ideas, but wonderful family opportunities. Everybody can do it like their own way and add something. And, you know, I remember that over the years. I remember my mom and I would make salt dough ornaments, and we would decorate them every year. And then I pass on that tradition now with my family. So those are the things we remember, the memories, not always the stuff. So I'm just adding a color in. On my swirls. And I ended up doing a lot of the rainbow here. Let's see, purple. Yours might look completely unique for you. All right, so far there's my swirly tree, Lollipop Land. And now I'm going to add some glitter. Basically, I think since I made the swirls with the paint, I'm going to make straight line glitter. All different ways on here. And it will dry a lot flatter than it first goes on. And also, if your children are not completely capable yet of holding a glitter glue and lightly all the control it takes to do this, right? Put it in a little dish for them and have them paint it on. I do that all the time with Liam. And then we just make the whole object shiny. Because this does take a lot of control, especially doing those those little bulbs, that took a lot of control for me, and I even messed it up a few times. So, but imagine how much more exciting our relatives are if they get a card in the mail that was made by a child. Like, it means so much more than just something purchased. So remember that when the holidays come. All right, I'm going to do one more line. And then hopefully I can show you guys all the examples here. And hopefully this has stimulated some creativity in you. You can take it and make it your own, because that is what my goal is. I don't want you to always copy exactly what I do. I would love for you to see it as an example. You can always try my style, but also add your own flavor to it. Wow, this one looks yummy enough to eat for some reason. Like candy. Let's see if I can hold it up for you. Okay, spirals and glitter lines. Very easy, and it'll dry and look even a little bit more sparkly and different. Okay, I'm going to see if I can hold these up for you guys and walk you through the quick examples. All right, the first one, pretty simple. I used tissue. I used newspaper and wrapped it around kind of like it's the garland, and then just painted it green, but you could do any other color you wanted, and I added buttons. The second one, I used tissue paper, like the paper mache idea, and black acrylic to make it look like stained glass. The third one is drying. we did green and white acrylic paint to make it look like an outdoor tree, and put some lights on it with the glitter glue. The fourth tree was the crinkle tissue paper. Real simple. I did a green one here, but Liam and I had also done a white one. And these could even be ornaments, right? All right. And then we did our rainbow paint tree with some embellishes right there. Just having fun with that, adding different little things. And then more of a design tree with the spirals and the glitter glue. All right. So those are some ideas to get you started on terrific trees. Please feel free to share in this group anything you create anytime this month or whenever. You don't have to jump on it today if you don't have the time, but I would love to see your creativity and your ideas and celebrate that along with you. So tomorrow I'll be leading the last day, which is Amazing Angels. We're going to get really creative with those. I'll share more about that. Hope you guys have a fantastic day and weekend.